Hey, everybody. Give everybody a few minutes to roll in, see if we can get this horse out the barn. Lots of things to go over with the YSL trial today. Lots of stuff. Max had his closing. And Doug had his closing. And then the state did their closing. Atkins did half of the state, and then Hilton did the other half. What a dumpster fire she was. What a dumpster fire. Absolute dumpster fire. So during both Max's closing and Doug's closing, they were passionate. They talked about things in a calm, passionate manner. However, Hilton, when she had her turn, she was up there yelling and screaming at the jury. She put up a PowerPoint and she put up the things that they were accused of. And she said, they're guilty, guilty, guilty. You must find them guilty. That went on like that for 2.5 hours. And let me just tell you, I've served on a jury before, and it was a murder trial, murder of an infant. And if the prosecutor had yelled and screamed at us like that, we would have all voted not guilty. But there was enough there for some of us to vote guilty and some of us to vote not guilty. Had one guy was a holdout for not guilty. And so it ended up a hung jury. And so the prosecutor came back and talked to us as jurors and said, she held the baby down and let him beat that child. And I told him, you never once told us that. Not once. So let's get into this. Hilton went through her case. Instead of being passionate and listing off the charges and saying, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we think you should find these defendants guilty because of XYZ. Instead of doing that, she put the PowerPoint up and she was yelling and screaming at them. Then put up the evidence that showed that they were not guilty and said they're guilty. It's like, what the hell? What the hell? Like the Drinks murder. The medical examiner testified that Mr. Drinks was shot in the back of the head, back here, at the base of the skull, and that when the bullet hit, that it exploded his spinal cord and his brain, killing him instantly, and that he would have been immobilized. That means unable to move. And Hilton got up there and said that he could have subconsciously been pressing on the brake pedal. What the friggin' hell? That's not what the medical examiner said. The medical examiner said it would have immobilized him, meaning he would not be able to move at all. And for 34 seconds after Shannon's car left, Mr. Drinks was there pumping on the brakes. Hilton got up there and said that she was not going to use rap lyrics against these individuals. And then she turns around and uses rap lyrics against them, uses their own words against them. Just beyond crazy. Crazy and bizarre is how I would put it. Very bizarre. Hold on for a second. It's just crazy. Beyond crazy to think that we have young men and women, not women, young men with their lives on the line, and these prosecutors, their attitude is guilty at all cost. It's really disgusting. You know, prosecutor's job is justice. When you hate the person that you're prosecuting, that is not justice. Both Hilton and Love have shown their hatred of Jeffrey Williams, young thug. Their attitude is guilty at all costs. He did this, that, the other. None of their evidence shows that. Their evidence does not show any of that. What the evidence shows that individuals did crimes. Then they went back to Jeffrey's house to hang out. That does not make him their gang leader or anything like that. Just because he's a very rich rap star and they want to go hang out at his house, that doesn't make them guilty of anything. And it's really disgusting the way they have put on this trial from the beginning. There has been something like 52 motions for mistrial. 52. So then you end up your case today after a couple weeks ago, a juror sent a note to the judge and said that if this goes on for very much longer, that they were going to be biased towards the decision. And the judge did not kick that person off of the jury, asked them if it went on like 6 weeks, could they make a rational decision? And I said, yes. They said yes. But it's like, okay, you're tone deaf. You need to learn to do what's called read the room. A good lawyer knows how to read the room. Another thing that I think Hilton did wrong is instead of standing at the lectern and facing the jury and talking about her case, She paced back in front of them like she was a lion about to devour them. It was the most bizarre thing I ever seen, ever watching a trial. Most seasoned prosecutors will stand at their lectern and address the jury, but this prosecutor paced back and forth in front of the jury, yelling at them, screaming at them, telling them, you must find them guilty. They are guilty, guilty, guilty. Well, that's no way to try and get a conviction. First of all, you have to show respect for the jury. You say things like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is the evidence we feel we have presented, and you go through your evidence, and then at the end you say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we think we have found enough evidence for you to find the defendants guilty, and we ask you to render a guilty verdict, and you go sit down. It's just beyond crazy how these prosecutors have acted. You know, Miss Love, I'm glad that she wasn't doing the closing today, because she's worse than Hilton. But the jury will get their instructions tomorrow, and they will deliberate. I don't think they're going to deliberate very long, and they're going to have a result. But that's just me. Because when you have a juror that tells you that they are basically biased against the state, I don't think the jury will be very long. And with Thanksgiving being on Thursday, I imagine these jurors will want to be home for Thanksgiving instead of cooped up trying to render a verdict. I know when I was on the trial that I was on, murder trial, the first thing we did when we got in the jury room was elect a jury foreman, and then the foreman does a count. How many think guilty, how many think not guilty. And then, oh, excuse me, they look at the evidence. So we find out tomorrow. Well, we hopefully find out tomorrow. It goes to the jury tomorrow. All right, that's what I got for y'all. We'll be back on again later on. Talk to you soon. Bye.